Hello. Um, name's Juan Dile. I'm 23. Um, this is gonna be the start of, I guess, my YouTube channel. Um, I don't really have a goal for this channel per se, except to record my thoughts, mostly for myself, just put myself out there and keep myself accountable for the things that I want to do. I have done a lot of things in my life. And I'm hoping to do more, but the reason I'm starting this channel is because um, a bit lost in what direction to take right now. I've just finished college. I say finished, so I have one more class I have to take. But right now, a lot of things are in the air because only have one more class left. Going to be taking it at a different school. But all in all, I need to start working towards career and figuring out what I'm going to do for the rest of my life now that, for the most part, school's done. So I think all in all, I've had a lot of things happen in my life, but I think I'm pretty satisfied with the direction that things have gone. But now that school is over, quote unquote, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do. So I think this is just one step towards figuring out what I'm gonna do next. Um, I think I've come to the general conclusion that as long as I'm doing the things that I like to do in some capacity, or moving towards the possibility of me being able to do what I like, full term, quote unquote, I should be pretty happy. Sorry if I sound a bit off or if I'm snoring a lot. I have a cold right now. But at this point, right, um, I'll be finishing school with a mathematics degree, computer science degree. Um, the job market is rough, so I have a couple of goals that I like to achieve and things I need to move towards to be able to live the life that I want. And to do those things, I'm going to have to um, learn a lot and do a lot. So this is going to be the start of my journey and recapping the things that of the things that I'm doing to move forward in the aspects that I care about. So to give a general aspect of the things that I like to know about, a little bit about myself. I already said I'm 23, half South African, half African American. I'm a big nerd. I say big nerd, but I've met nerds that are bigger than me. But I like Magic the Gathering, D&D. I have a bunch of One Piece figurines that I have to set up at some point. I love martial arts. I love working out. I love math, coding, video games. Not that I play many video games these days. But all in all, the whole point of this is just to record my journey and the things that I'm doing to move forward, right? So I've been very diligent in making sure that my schooling's going well, despite the fact that I have to retake a class. But my schooling's doing well. I've been making sure to be responsible. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't go out and party. Or if I do go out and party, I'm usually the designated driver because I don't like drinking to begin with. But uh, forgive me if this is a bit rambly. First time. So the plan is to just grow and continue to build my skills. Like I said, I'm a big D&D nerd. I like TTRPGs. So think of me, I'm building a Pathfinder character, I'm building a D&D character, and I'd like to say I'm really below level like 1. I'm level 0. Because with D&D and Pathfinder, right, when you're making your character for the first time, where I'm, like I said, I like martial arts and I like HEMA and stuff, so I think of a fighter personally. um you know, the character already knows 2 languages, they have a background, a full career, like they're usually broke. But like we're talking about like, the peak of physical athleticism if we're talking about a D&D character, right? They're not just the normie NPC or like some guard, right? Because if you take a level 1 character into a guard, right? A guard has 10 hit HP, maybe, right? And some good armor. And then you're talking about a fighter. A fighter's out here with like decent armor, and then is also being able to like pull off crazy feats just being level 1. Like a level 1 fighter is the same thing as like, I don't know, maybe a monk's easier because we don't really have armored knights anymore. Like a level 1 monk is like if you took an Olympic sprinter and like, or like a pole vaulter, or like like a not calisthenics, but like a gymnastics person, and mixed it with like Mike Tyson's fighting ability, that person is like peak of peak, right? And I think the most dumbed down version, like in fantasy and media, that I can think of like a general path that a normal person might be able to get to, is like the Hashiras, like from Demon Slayer, right? So like uh, my goals are very much like inspired by anime, as I said earlier. But my goals in life are to be, successful, be able to live a good life, and like live a life of adventure. Right? I've been knowing about the nerd space and everything since I was very little. Like my dad's a huge nerd guy. He has figurines all over his house. Like does D&D all the time. It was the first time I played D&D was like a third edition thing that I did when I was like maybe 10, 12. Right? So it's very much leading my brain. So this is just, this is going to be my little compendium of ideas. And the goal is to make a video every single week and slowly get better and just tell you what I'm doing to move forward with my goals. So I'll list my goals now, right? In terms of getting through the ranks. I had paper somewhere, which hopefully I will have a better, um, like paper to show you, for my physical goals. But and they're based off of like the Hashira from the Demon Slayer. It's gonna be a very big thing with me. But we'll start off with the ones that I find the most fun, right? Is because I'm a big martial arts nerd and I love working out, right? I have two categories for physical, right? And I think this is a skill tree, right? So we have the physical branch. With the physical branch, it splits into two, right? Though there's a lot of overlap between the two, and that is with fitness and with martial arts. So with fitness, right now, I've always been a big boy. I'm only like 5'7", but I'm like 220 pounds, right? And I've been working out for a while, but let me tell you, your boy's got some insulation on him. That's what I call it. Got some fluff, some insulation. Um, so the goal right now is I'm at like 220, 222 because of the holidays, is to go down to 195. I'm also a big calisthenics person, so I have a calisthenics program that I've been doing, and so the goal with that is it's mostly weighted calisthenics, is to run through the program again. I've been doing it 3 times. It's by B4 Flex. It's the gravity training. I highly recommend checking out B4 Flex's stuff. I like his stuff. I find it inspirational, especially his like early shorts, on like YouTube shorts. But so that's the goal with that, is to go through the program a third time and really start putting on some weight on there. My calisthenics like strength has gone up a lot. I've done weightlifting in the past. I do enjoy it. One of the programs that I've done in the past is the Hanayama workout by the anime trainer. Also a great workout, also a great YouTube channel. Check that out. But yeah, the goal is to go through the calisthenics program again and add as much weight as possible while losing weight. Right? I bought myself a weight vest, which has been very nice because it means I don't need a gym. I make sure not to skip leg day. So hopefully I'll be putting up videos of me training. And then with martial arts, I live in a small town. There's no martial arts around me unless you're doing Brazilian Jiu Jitsu. I personally want to get into Kyokushin karate at some point because I think it's awesome and I love karate, and I'm a big weeb Japanophile, type person. Maybe Japanophile is not the way to put that with everything going on in the news, but big fan of Japan culture. Let's go with that. So the goal is I have my own little program. I learned Taekwondo while I was at school, out in Missouri. So I've just been focusing on practicing the basics, basic kicks, punches. I realize the punches aren't as big in Taekwondo, but I make sure to practice it either way for technique purposes. And, you'll see that. Feel free to critique me in the comments in the future. And then also, I found this guy called Wukong Wilson. Does boxing stuff, and I have a rattan ring, so I plan on doing that as well as I've been practicing HEMA for the last 3 years. The first year I was in Wisconsin, So I was able to learn it in person. So I've been practicing the technique with that as well. So the plan is to continue practicing with that. I made my own personal program, so I usually practice like unarmed martial arts in the morning, and then I do the armed martial arts at night. I got myself a practice training sword from Athena Arms. I have a boken which transfer over quite nicely. Like I said, I'm South African, so I'm Zulu, so I have the two shorts training spears which I use for Kali practice. So the goal is to turn into a Hashira, and I have different levels, and I'll show that in another video, hopefully by next week. So that's that taken care of, and it's cheap now terms of other stuff with comp sci and being a fantasy person. I have been writing a video game which I need to make more progress on because I've been building the world for the past year or so. I already have the main mechanics taken care of, but I need to flesh out one final part of the world so I can start writing the story. And with that, at my previous school, I took video game programming, which was a lot of fun. Learning Unity was very interesting. I tried to learn Godot, and hopefully at some point I'll go back to learning Godot. But learning Unity was very cool. So I'm hoping to learn 3D Unity. I already have like a whole setup for that. So I'll be learning Unity 3D, which will help. And I have some friends who are planning on doing a game jam together. So hopefully I'll be able to do more game jams so I get more experience. Make a GitHub. And then in terms of uh so we have like the two goals right there, right? We have the physical tree, we have the creative tree, which is video game programming and writing games, and hopefully at some point, maybe running some D&D campaigns to get some more story experience. And then we have the career goal side of things, because your boy's not rich. Your boys does not have capital like that, right? It's not a thing. So at the moment, it's trying to find a job, finish my classes. I might be trying to dip into IT, so I'm gonna see if I can get some a Google cert and maybe something else. I have a friend was able to get me a pretty cheap PC. So at some point I'll be setting up that and learning how to do Linux. So I have some Linux projects to put on GitHub. So I'll be able to do that. And then so that's like the professional side of things, and then like the more, we'll say, spiritual and just skill side of things, right? Is what that's four branches. I'm South African, my mom's side, but I never learned Zulu when I was younger. But Duolingo has Zulu, so the goal is to learn Zulu. I had Spanish in high school, and I speak some Spanish. It's not the best, but I speak some Spanish. And I used to get Zulu and Spanish down, and then just yeah, get those things up. And I realize I said that spiritual, but like learning more about South African culture and everything. I have some books that I need to read that I was able to find. I have some books I need to finish, and hopefully I'll be able to get that. So, like the four things that this channel is going to be focused on, I guess, and it'll get more complicated as I come up with more ideas, is the fitness side of things, which is, physical fitness and martial arts, and then the creative side of things, which will be video game programming and writing, and then we have the career side of things, which is finishing my class, getting IT certification, and hopefully getting a job in my field. I have a job currently, but it's not in my field, though it is a fun job. I'm very lucky that the people I work with are quite nice. And then I guess the spiritual side of things is, learning more Zulu, learning more about the culture, finding more books, which I've been able to find, and just really being able to live my life by doing the things that I like, which is also what this is about, sharing my journey, and having a little thing for myself. So we'll put this as the introduction to, I'm going to call it the Compendium is a series, and hopefully I will have more topics and things to talk about as time goes on, and I'll come up with more ideas, and the goal is every week with each topic is to move forward in one way, and I'll have an update on the things that I'm moving forward on, though at some point the fitness and the martial arts things are probably going to be pretty boring. I find that stuff interesting personally, so I'll have to come up with a way to make that interesting. But hopefully I'll have B-roll and all that stuff, and I'll learn some video editing. So we'll really see what happens. Thanks for stopping by. So I'll say salagasle, and I'll see you guys soon.